Yo, what's up lads, you with the Budget Monk, and welcome to a new video here. Today I would like to talk about what I call the show strength humiliate. So it's a concept which sounds about what it is, that's what it sounds like, showing strength and humiliating. But in my view, what I'm hopefully about to demonstrate here is actually probably the most productive thing you could potentially do, period, right from the onset of the game. Now, there would be some some exceptions if you had to do something in particular to survive. But in this case, I'm playing as Frankfurt inside of the Holy Roman Empire. And this hopefully is going to demonstrate it more easily, as this is a nice dense region. I'm playing on very hard difficulty, and I've just done a little bit of state shenanigans here really quickly. I've hired Free Company Militia. We're 2 over our force limit right now. And let's take a look. That's actually a good ruler. I'm going to go ahead and roll a general. Hopefully that will do. And so what you're going to want to do here, guys, is basically look at your rival options. In my case, we don't have that many, but I do have the perfect scenario here, which is Nassau. So if we look at, for example, Hesse, who is an available rival, you'll see that he has plenty of allies here. So we're 1 month before, or 1 day before the month ticks over here, right in the beginning of the game on 1444. And you cannot declare war until the 11th of December. Well, if we look at the rest of our neighbors and available rivals, there are not as good options as Nassau. So Nassau is our rival, or potential rival. He's our enemy. But he is also allied to Hesse, who can also be rivaled. And that is the situation you're looking for specifically. In this case, the only issue is that Nassau is actually directly bordering Hesse. So if there was even just a little bit of exaggerated distance in proximity, if Hesse was located just over here, it would take longer for their troops to walk there. In this case, they're consolidated together and they outnumber us. So in terms of sheer execution, I'm a little bit worried. But apart from that, this is the perfect situation. And basically what we want to do is we want to declare a show strength war immediately, as soon as humanly possible, and separate piece for a humiliate. So basically showing strength and humiliating right from the onset of the game. This, of course, is actually going to increase your power projection by 30 for each of those actions. But as soon as you establish some rivals and so on, you will actually gain, obviously, power projection and maintain it as well, a certain amount. And declaring war on your rival gives you 10 power projection. So basically, this is the fastest course of action to actually boosting your power projection up, which is going to give you 1 of each monarch point per month. Obviously, 3 monarch points per month. Indefinitely, as long as it's above 50. But not only that, of course, upon successfully showing strength, you will gain 100 of each monarch point. This is, again, one of the most productive things you can do, in my opinion, as just about everything is bottlenecked behind admin in particular, like your idea groups, for example. If you were to expand, it's going to slow down your admin technology, and actually, there's nothing wrong with expanding, but it does come at a cost. It's not like we're sitting here 30 years into the game and we've got too much admin we don't know what to do with. No. In fact, if we gained 300 admin right now, we would love it, but it would also be used. With that being said, the reason I'm sitting here at the beginning of the end of the month is because the CB will update at the end of the month. So there is an alternative way to actually be even more try-hard, let's say, and you can rival a nation and then attack them with the CB right after that by actually insulting somebody. So rival him on the 11th of December, insult somebody, will update the CB and go in. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and rival Nassau, rival Hesse, and as I'm not really attached to this game, you should study and be a little bit more meticulous, but we'll just throw it on Baden here. Now, with that being said, because I am worried about the proximity of these two and winning the war, I'm going to go ahead and grab military access from Mainz, which is available. And I'll show you guys a little bit of a try-hard starter here for this war, which hopefully benefits you. With that being said, we can go ahead and pop this guy here, Morale of Armies. Yeah, we'll probably go a bit bankrupt, but that might make the difference. I'm going to go ahead and embargo Hesse, which means I cannot, of course, send a diplomat there for 30 days. So you've got to make sure not to do that with Nassau, because we're going to be attacking him ASAP. And same thing with Baden. You can study their total amount of troops here, of course. So we can see sometimes they will delete their forces, other times they won't. Now, if we ally mains, guys, I will not be exiled when I declare war, and that's actually what I'm going for here. It's a nice, cheeky trick. So this is the perfect scenario. Basically going to war with two rivals with the Humiliation CB, which of course enables show strength. Now, upon declaring this, you'll see here that we have become exiled because I'm outside of my territory. So this is what I meant try hard. I'm really trying hard here, guys. I'm sweating to actually win this because we're up against 11,000 troops. So as we just hired the Free Company Militia, the morale is not quite there. And what we're going to do is basically wait for them to walk into Frankfurt, as they do not recognize our troops as a threat. They will simply pool everything in Frankfurt. That's going to give us the ability to sortie for an additional 3,000 troops, which means we actually outnumber them. But not only that, we will get the morale tick here on our mercenaries. They're rolling with a 3-shock general. It's actually really bad, guys. We definitely could lose this engagement. So like I said, you'd really want to... this isn't quite the perfect scenario in the sense that we may actually struggle to win this. Now, time is on our side, right, because my morale is recovering. But you can see here that he's recruiting units. So we're going to have to go in here right about now. But as I'm fighting for my survival, I'm going to roll that. Beautiful. And we've got additional shocks, so that should really help. Also roll this. And let's give it a go. I'm going to sortie. So we now outnumber them. And the issue is that we have slightly less morale, but due to our numbers, unless we roll very poorly, we do have an advantage. Also with the discipline and morale event, not quite beating him on morale, but he also has a slightly more cavalry, but thankfully I'm just rolling well here. So even with my try-hard tactic here, we're really struggling. Just to reiterate, if they were split up more, we would have just whacked one of them at a time, right? And it would have worked very well. But nonetheless, we win, so lucky us. Next up, I'm going to go ahead and insult, of course, my third rival, and we're up to 24 power projection already. These two are both retreating here, and if we manage to stack wipe them... Let's see. I make it there before they get the morale tick. It's good. If we manage to stack wipe them, then that's obviously the victory for us. Beautiful. Beautiful. So it's now a 1v1 against Nassau, and he appears as though he's stack wiped as well. Excellent. So cutting it close there. With that being said, remember guys, once we humiliate, we will have actually also achieved our age objective right from the beginning of the game. So very, very optimal way to begin the game here. And we're just going to be, well, we're going to have to find out how long it takes for these forts to fall. I definitely recommend, regardless of the situation, you should try and prevent your opponent from being able to reinforce anywhere before finally sitting on their forts and finishing them off. So with that being said, I'm going to fast forward this stuff, guys, until we've achieved our victory, and we'll do the peace out. Alright guys, here we are, and you can see that it's been quite literally 12 months, so that's obviously going to be determined by whether or not these sieges go well, and sometimes if they have a fort, you know, it takes a while to reinforce and so on and so forth. But I did just want to demonstrate here before we peace out that I'm making 1.3 ducats per month, so despite being 2 over my force limit, and despite reinforcing to some extent, you can see now that we've dealt with the opponent's troops, you can actually, what I consider, partially maintain your army. So you want to maintain it at least a little bit so that it does actually at least slowly reinforce, repair. But due to the spoils of war from looting these, spreading our armies thin, you can see that we're actually making money, and that would be the case even if I turn this all the way up. So I fired my advisor, and I've actually been turning my fort off. In this case, we're a free city, so Austria will back us up and we should be safe from any nasty surprise. And that's pretty much it, guys. You can see here with the Humiliate, we could take money if we like. There are always downsides like truce timers and so on, but you can see that that 55 ducats for the early game is pretty substantial, as nobody's helping us out. We do not share that with anybody. And just like that, having dropped 3 rivals, attacking rival, insulting, and humiliate, we are above power projection. Now, this does go down slowly, but we now gain +1 to each per month, and we have achieved 1 age objective just like that. So following up that peace deal with the show strength, which is going to bump this all the way up into, I believe, the 80s, as it gives you +30 power projection. But if you look closely, for people who do not know, actually gaining 100 of each monarch point, 300 monarch points total. By taking advantage of this, you can very often be sort of one of the most innovative world-leading nations, even if you roll... this is a pretty good roller, to be honest. As a republic, we can roll more stats, but even if you roll terrible stats, you can actually be an extremely innovative nation by being a world leader by farming points like that. So in this case, I can see that Baden actually only has Mulhouse as a friend. Now, similar scenario here where they are side by side, and those numbers are pretty daunting. But potentially, or if I was more meticulous and careful and observing, we could get another show strength off. But that is what I call the show strength Humiliate. It's something that you should always be gunning for and always looking out for. It's something that is more easily obtained as a smaller nation, believe it or not, due to wars or 100%ing other smaller nations being nice and fast and efficient. However, you do, as you become a larger nation, or you play a larger and larger nation, for example, Hungary, you will find that it's actually easier to achieve this on very hard difficulty, or at least you gain more opportunities. And the reason I say that is because often Serbia or Wallachia will be a valid rival for you as Hungary, where they are otherwise not a valid rival, of course, on normal difficulty. But due to them having the OPAI advantages, you can do similar things, and there's always going to be a downside. Like, for example, if we had already taken a province, then our aggressive expansion would be diminishing at the end of this year. So there's always plus sides and downsides, but I consider that to be the most productive thing to do. It's something that you should always look out for. You should always look out for show strength opportunities as it is, but the flawless and clean show strength Humiliate is, in my opinion, the best thing to do in the beginning of the game to get this game off on the right foot, farming monarch points, as just about everything is bottlenecked behind admin in particular. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video, and I hope that you picked up some other things. And this is going to be kind of my format for now going forward on my channel here, where I'd like to do a little bit of an in-depth approach on a certain concept, and hopefully you guys can pick up other things like exiling your troops before going to war as like a tip if you watch going into the future. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that benefited you, and yeah, I'd appreciate it if you guys could follow my live stream, guys, over on twitch.tv if you're interested in chill content. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in another video.